while we're seating, a couple notes on safety here at SLAC. This is earthquake country in California. Hopefully you've been looking at this slide. The thing to remember is that we're on a plate that's moving north-south. So when an earthquake comes, the shaking is between the fountain and Sand Hill Road. So watch out for things falling like that. And you should duck and cover if you feel an earthquake coming. Don't leave until you're accounted for and been instructed to do so. There's other information here about what to do in the event of a emergency, life-threatening, call 911. Otherwise, it's the 5555 for non-life-threatening emergencies to call the gatehouse. They're here to help us. Okay, I'm going to hand over to our lab director, John Sorrell, who has a few words of welcome for you.
Great, thanks, Phil. So as Phil said, my name is John Sorrell. I am the lab director here at SLAC. I am excited to see all of you here for such an exciting week and exciting event. It's always cool when the auditorium is completely full. I also know that things like this are wholly new from hearing the stuff you actually came for and hearing from Bob. So I will be brief, but I want to make 2 points. And those are the 2 things we talk a lot about at SLAC. One of the things we talk about a lot at SLAC is how we define us. Us includes those of us who work here every day. Us includes all of our users who come to SLAC to use our facilities, who we're trying to commit to support. And us is the community with which we collaborate. And all 3 of those definitions of us apply to the Rubin community as well. So I'm quite delighted to welcome all of you to be part of us for the week, and hope you continue to enjoy and have a good experience. And if issues arise, please don't be shy about reaching out. The other point that I wanted to share is a bit of my own personal motto, and because I'm lab director, I get to project my personal mottos onto the laboratory. And the personal motto at the moment is defining the future and navigating the present, and the order matters. And so I think it's important to remember how exciting this moment is in defining the future. In Rubin space, we've been thinking about a construction project for a long time. That's old news. Mission accomplished. I mean, people used to come to SLAC for tours to see stuff that's being built. That's not interesting anymore. We're now actually doing the science. And so this is the beginning of a really exciting next decade, which we should all take a lot of joy in having gotten to this point and see what comes next. And yes, there are important things going on. There's always challenges getting started, and we'll work through those. And we'll certainly be, we're thinking about our colleagues in Chile and challenges being worked through there. But remember, it's important to focus on defining the future while we navigate the present. So in that spirit, welcome, enjoy. I hope you have a great week, and straight over to Bob. Keep us going. Bob.
Thanks, John. Welcome, everybody, to the Rubin Community Workshop 2026. It is really great to see you here. We're going to have a great week. I wanted to start off by first, we usually do this at the end, but we really need to do it at the beginning, because this week is put together by a real dedicated team who's worked really hard to make sure we're going to have a fantastic time. So I'd like to thank the local organizing committee, the science organizing committee, the program ops team at Rubin, all the administrative help, all those folks, our IT folks, everyone that's put this together, got you through the gate into the guest house or the hotels here. The meeting's all set up. We're ready to go. So let's give them a warm welcome. Warm thank you. Okay. Just a few words about the week and how we're going to run through it. Rubin has been a leader in making sure that our community is well taken care of and thought of, and we treat each other with kindness and respect. So go ahead and have vigorous discussions, debates, arguments, but do it in a way that is respectful of everybody and kind as we go through the week. If you have any potential issues of code of conduct, you can talk to Sandrine Thomas, Fed Bianco, and Jeff Carlin, who are here at the meeting. As far as the COVID protocol, which is kind of, we can think of as the protocol for how you're feeling and well or not. Respect your colleagues if they're wearing a badge that says they don't want to shake hands, or if they do, or if you want to wear a mask, that's fine, that's welcome. You do what makes you most comfortable, but respect the boundaries of other folks as well. If you see someone with one of these social batteries, please understand that they may not want to interact right away or in the moment, and give them their space. For Zoom folks, please stay muted when you're not talking. In-person folks, please wait when we have questions and use a microphone so everyone on Zoom can follow along. There is a Slack space, and questions will be monitored as we go through all the sessions. There's one for this session that you can find on Slack. In Zoom, we won't be sharing slides in this plenary, but you will have access to that in others. The raise hand feature might be enabled by the session monitor if they decide that's the way to go. Okay, the big elephant in the room is what's going on in Chile. So I wanted to get that out of the way first. I want to give you a realistic set of expectations about what we're dealing with, and then we're going to move on to the meeting. So as most of you have heard, we have had a very significant storm in Chile. We evacuated our summit on July 14th. That's almost 2 weeks ago now. It turned out it's the worst storm in 50 years. And we had 2 or 3 times, maybe more in some places, rainfall in the region in a couple days. So annual rainfall, 2 or 3 times annual rainfall just in a couple days. In fact, the region of Coquimbo, which is the large area within which we operate, has been declared a federal catastrophe zone. And so, you know, our first priority is not astronomy. It's been with our staff and our community. Our staff are okay for the most part, not 100%, and some of them have suffered losses. Health-wise, they're good. But they're also thinking about helping out in the community and doing things. There's activities and things going on to pull this community back together. It's going to take a long time. There's been a lot of damage in the region. Fortunately, most of our facilities look like they're okay, but we've just begun to assess the damage. It is very extensive, and from our point of view, access to the sites is very limited right now, and it's a day-by-day thing where we're making progress. There's a tremendous amount of damage on our access roads all the way up to the summit. The power is out at the summit. Our main line is on poles. They're not working right now. So that's going to take some time to get back. We haven't even reached the summit yet. If we're lucky, we might get a team up to the summit today, just to force the road up to Cerro Pachón. For those of you who know the region or our property, Cerro Tololo, we have reached so far. There is internet connectivity, but of course we don't have any power at Rubin right now, so we haven't connected to the summit as such. Getting that power back on is a priority. Supplying our generators with fuel and every other kind of logistical thing you can think is going to be a challenge over the next weeks and months. So it's going to take time, and we're going to have to be patient, work together with ourselves like we always have. This is just one more challenge on the way to, you know, finishing the LSST, and we're going to have to work together to make it happen, but it is going to take time. We have lots of issues with services in La Serena, but they're coming back. The community is starting to pull itself back up. Water and power are mostly back on. So that's the message for what our team is dealing with. If Kevin is online, I'd like him to pop in and just say hello and let you know how the team is doing.
Sure, I'm here. Greetings everyone from Chile. Most of us, our homes are back in order. We have water, we have power. I'm actually in the office today. Office opens tomorrow. We lost roads and bridges on our property, but Chile lost roads and bridges. But we have forged a path and made it to Tololo and pushing to get to Pachón today. We're having meetings. We had a 9:15 tailgate this morning. We had a huge number of people dialed in, ready to get back to work. If you wanted to change the world of astronomy for the rest of time, you would build a team like the one we have, including the one here in Chile. So we'll be back to it soon enough, but it's going to take us some time.
Thanks, Kevin. Give our best to everyone down there in Chile. We're with you. Okay, respecting what we're up against, but also wanting to get on with it and acknowledge all the great stuff that's been happening with Rubin and the LSST since the last time we met. let's commit ourselves to having a good meeting and an exciting meeting as we roll forward. So since the last time we met, we've had multiple construction completeness reviews. We've had operational readiness reviews. In October, we handed over from construction to operations to start the early operations phase. We did that successfully. For the last 8 months, we've been rolling through an optimization phase where we brought the system performance up to the point where we could start the survey. And indeed, we have started the survey. We're no longer a construction project, as John just mentioned. We're a working observatory. We're open every clear night that we can be, and we're taking data and we're starting the survey. This is an amazing moment. We have actually started the survey. So this is the Ocean of Stars image that came out on June 29th or June 30th. It's a small region of sky, and it's amazing just in and of itself, but it's representative of an amazing amount of work that has got us to this point. More than 20 years of people working extremely hard. Many of those people in the room here and around the campus today, many online, many overseas. The construction team leadership, the telescope and site team, the data management team, our EPO team, everyone in our administrative arms and our IT group, all working together for so long. Our international partners who contributed to the construction. It's an amazing amount of work that's represented in this image that starts the survey. And I just want to take a moment and thank all those folks and congratulate them on what they've done to this point to get us here. Okay. This is just a slide celebrating the fact that we started the survey just a few weeks ago. We had a lot of engagement, as we have had over the course of the year. We had first alerts. We had, of course, first look around the time of this meeting last year that was tremendous. But the worldwide community is still very much engaged in what we're doing. It's an exciting time to be working in astrophysics and be part of this amazing survey. We have astronomy press, we have major newspapers in the US and in Europe celebrating what we've done. So it's all in front of us, and it's just well done to everybody that's participated up to this point. This is just a historic snapshot of night one. The thing that I love most about night one is it was so normal. It was smooth, it was long. You know, one of my goals is to make observing extremely boring. The science won't be boring and the survey won't be boring, but we want the nights on the mountain to just pass without event. And so this was a great night. We took many, many images. You see the image quality up here on the upper left of our dashboard. On the right, you see the number of images we took. They're almost all survey images. There's a little contextual message that shows what was happening as we went through the night. That middle panel on the bottom shows the status of the observatory. It was all pretty much just straight on observing. And then on the right, you see the actual visit map for that night. So it was a tremendous night. It went very smooth. And it started, let me show you that, just remind you of what we're doing here. We have the full focal plane of one of the best images of that night. It was around 0.7 arc second. As you saw from the previous slide, there were quite a few that were down in that range. And this is a blow up of one piece of that image showing you the fine detail that you see and the deep faint objects that we're capturing in every image. But it started out, again, this is a normal night. It started out with kind of a fuzzy image. We'll make that better. But this fuzzy image in part is fuzzy because it was over 2 air masses. We were leaned over to search for near Earth objects in the twilight survey. So that's also part of a normal night. We'll hit the twilight survey at the beginning and end of each night, and then we'll go and hit the deep fields. We'll hit the deep drilling fields. We'll hit the rest of the regular survey cadence. What you see in these 2 images are the median PSF for each raft in that full focal plane that I just showed you. So each raft is 9 by 9 CCDs, 3 by 3. This shows you the full 21 rafts, and it's just a way of summarizing the image quality on a given image. And what you see on the right is one of the best images from that night, showing that the system is working well. You can pick at some of the details, and we'll hear more about those as the week goes on and how we're gonna dial in that performance even better. But the system is taking great data, and we're off and running on the survey. I just have one more slide here, and then I'm going to hand it over to Yusra to talk about data management. This is an approximate high-level timeline for the next 2 years. So we're just transitioning out of that light green in 2026 into the dark green, and we've started the survey. We will have citizen science data available soon from DP2, and that workflow and those projects can start. We have finished the early operations engineering and related work to get us to this point. We will continue, and you'll hear more about our plans to continue improving the system performance as we go forward. We're going to put out early data preview 2. You'll hear all about that today and as this week goes forward. We have the prompt products database coming a little bit later. And then as we roll into 2027, we continue to take data. We will start the data release processing, and that will eventually result in data release 1 sometime in 2028. We also expect to get to the full or mostly full alert stream by the time we work through 2027. So with that, the DR1 clock has started, and let's hear from Yusra on data management.
I've been looking forward to this day for a while, because today is the day that we release the catalogs and coads from the commissioning period from April to December of last year. Data management's mission over the last year and now is to get you LSSTChem data as fast as technically possible. Behind this coad is countless hours from people all over the observatory. The commissioning period was represented an extremely intense and sustained level of effort of countless nights and weekends behind the scenes of this image. For data management, we optimized the science pipelines for LSSTChem data. We've scaled and are still working on scaling the data serving system. In fact, there's a back room in the other building right now with a bunch of people huddled in a conference room doing last minute testing of our services before we open the doors for this data set. We're making the compute at the summit more scalable and reliable, working on scaling the data production system. Please stay for the Friday plenary where Eric and Colin will tell the saga of the scaling of the data production system. So over the last year, from April to April, we started observing in these field surveys, then the so-called science validation ecliptic survey, including deep drilling fields. And then after the shutdown in October, we unleashed the scheduler and started covering a wider area, albeit at lower counts of visits. The coads that are coming out today were built from all the visits that were taken between April and January 6th. And the only regions that were co-added were regions taken before the shutdown. So everything that you see here. In December, we had our feature freeze for the pipelines, and by February, the alert stream went public. At the time, the only templates that were deployed were in those field surveys and the deep drilling fields where we had sufficient visits built up early, and we were already started to co-add for running the pilot runs, for commissioning the pipelines, and validating the as-built system. By May, the processing for DP2 was complete, and we deployed coads from the regions that you see here. remember that the best time for observing 180 RA is March. March, April, May, June, July. We're right about here. August, September, September, October, November, December, January, February. So when we first went on with first alerts, we were in this region here. So we mostly Cosmos, EDFS, M49. And you see an uptick in the number of alerts, which is from a variety of different reasons. Not only are we taking more science visits, but the region of the sky where we were observing last year at this time has come back around and is observable now. So what comes next is we're currently evaluating the number of visits and quality of the visits taken in this time here. And you will hear more from Eric about this at the early science session later today, along with what we're planning later this fall in terms of the full DP2, the prompt products database, and the full release of data preview 2. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you hear me? Yeah, it's working. All right, so I'm here to give you a little bit of a summary of what the last year has been on the Rubin Summit operations side. So while Yusra described what DM is doing, which is really taking all the raw images and making them into data products and cool things that astronomers can use, we're committed to deliver to you, the DM team, the best quality images that we can in order to have little work afterwards. Not always working, but. So what have we been doing the last year? So as Bob mentioned, last year we were just on Sky. We had fantastic first look images that went around the world. They were really good. We got quickly to alignment and quality needed for those first look images, but we were cheating a little bit, right? We were staying at one elevation. We chose the state of the telescope that was stable, so we actually could impress the world and get those amazing looking images. But that's not enough for conducting all the sciences that we need. And so after that was over, what we did after that was really to make sure we could get those images, but in any state of the telescope, at any elevation, running around the sky, taking one image after the other. So that's kind of what we did. But it turns out that controlling a very fast optically and mechanically telescope is challenging. What I mean by fast optically is that anything that you make move a little bit will actually degrade your image. So as you can imagine, when you observe, you need to move all the time. Your stars don't stay still. So everything needs to be adjusted all the time. And that's what we run into. Even our temperature is moving and has a huge impact on the alignment of our telescope. So that's what we did. Really, really try to get a hold of that alignment so we could actually keep those images crisp. And when I say good image quality, it means really good point spread function, so really good round images, but also uniform across this huge field of view and have the ellipticity really low. Those graphs here show, I don't know if you see the cursor. Yeah, no, that's, yeah. So there's a pointer. Oops. Anyway, so this shows a estimated instrument contribution. There are 3 graphs. I'm sorry, it's color-coded. So the purple line is the impact of the actual system. The blue line, which is a little bit lower, the peak, is the variation across the field of view. And then the red line is the contribution of the atmosphere. Remember, we cannot correct for the atmosphere for this telescope. And you have 3 versions of this graph, one from the science validation when we were still in commissioning, one starting early operations, so starting October, and one focusing on the last few months starting April this year. And really the message you should take is the improvement that we made. So the purple line is what you're looking to, and you can see that it has to be within that green portion of the graph to do the science that we said we would do. And so as we went, month after month, we really optimized this to the point where now the peak is within that green line, but you can see there's still a little bit of a tail, and that's what we're working on now. But it is working a lot better. We have made a lot of progress. That's the result of a very, very dedicated team, like Kevin said, and Bob. And this is shown a little bit differently. The orange bottom here is the ellipticity, again, from October early operation to July. It got cropped for some reason, maybe not. And the bottom line here is same thing. The green is where we need to be, orange for ellipticity, and the trend here is that we're actually doing a lot better. But we still have quite a bit of ellipticity, and we still have some non-uniformity across the field of view. But really, we are most of the time in that green box. So that's really for image quality. The other aspect that we're working on is efficiency, because we do need to take a lot of data every night in order to make the science that we want over the 10 years. And so this graph is a representation of, again, since October last year to July this year, how much time we spent on Sky and what is the program that we're running. The orange is engineering tests. The green is the alignment at the beginning of the night and refocusing of the telescope. And the blue is what you want. It is the survey. And in a glance, you can see that as we're moving to your right, there's a lot more blue. This is what we want. Unfortunately, there's also quite a bit of white. White is downtime. It's false. It's bad weather. We cannot do anything about bad weather, which is what we had in the latest night. But we have been working with our engineering team, has been working very, very hard on making the whole system more robust. So then we don't have faults. Faults with the camera, faults with the actual telescope mount, faults with our cooling system. So we have an optimization plan to make sure that we can actually get those higher efficiency per night. But with all that, there are still caveats, but we are taking good images and we are taking a lot of images. And so that's what Bob presented on June 29th. We started the survey and that was our first night. This is a representation per raft. So we have one image per raft in our camera of the quality that we had. Pretty good overall, 0.7 arcsecond across the field of view with quite low ellipticity. We took 880 images. I think that Digest was saying 875, but we're close, which is really good. We still had a little bit of ellipticity overall and some issue with our mirror. But and then after 3 weeks, if you don't count the 5 bad weather nights, we got over 7,000 visits and median quality of 1.1. And this is a really cool graph showing where we need to be again, just looking into the delivered image quality as a function of the number of expected visits. We are right here. We needed to be a little bit more to the right in terms of efficiency, but that's also a lot of bad weather, so we can't really control that. And then this doesn't show ellipticity, but it really shows where, compared to last year, where we actually are right now for the survey so far. And this is a representation of the image quality that we have. So again, the message is that overall we're getting good data, but we don't want to stop here. We do want to make sure that we can be in our red box all the time. So there's a lot of improvement that we are doing on uniformity of the PSF, the ellipticity. And this is a snapshot of what we're going to talk about a lot more on Wednesday morning, which is our image quality improvement plan. There is a document out there, and we will give you I'll post the link in the slides so then you can have it. And it's really over like software, active optic system, which is our both on our control loop and open loop, which is our system that actually optimizes in real time the image quality of the telescope. I won't go into the details, come on Wednesday for those. We're also putting a lot of effort into our environmental control. As I said, we're very sensitive to temperature and equilibrium, so we're putting a lot of effort into thermally controlling our mirrors, our M1, M3 mirror. We have louvers. I mean, for those who have been following us, this is really, really exciting. We have 12 working, but we need 34. So pushing the team to deliver, I mean, the contractor to deliver those. And then we do a lot of effort on weather forecasting. And the other side, the other bullet is actually also very important. We do have stray light. It's a very optically fast telescope. If you don't know what that means, come and talk to me. But that means that a lot of lights coming from other stars in the sky are reflecting on all the material and all the telescope, and you can see diffusion into your image. So we're putting a lot of effort in optimizing the system so then we can remove those lights. With that, I'm going to stop. If you have any question, I'm here all week, so you can talk to me and anyone from the RSO team. Željko, your turn. Željko.
Thank you. Morning. As most of you know, decisions where to point next on the sky and in what band are based on computations on cost function minimization that is done by a piece of software we call Scheduler. We started developing that scheduler about 20 years ago. The first version was written by Abhi Saha. He's there 22 years ago, I think, in IDL. We worked with community all those years, and a few years ago, we went into the final phase with a committee called Survey Cadence Optimization Committee that is chaired by our LSSD survey scientist, Federica Bianco. And we ended up with version of that cost function that we called V5.0. That's what we wanted to start survey with. And then we realized that we had to tweak few details. Who is controlling slides? Me? There we go. So recently we modified that baseline cadence that essentially was contract with community on how we will execute LSSD. There were two main reasons why we had to modify it a bit. One is that we did not get as much commissioning data during the last phase of construction as we hoped for. And as a result, we did not have templates across as much sky as we expected. So we had to add a little bit of new logic to that cost function, that templates are worth more than random visits, meaning those visits that have properties that would qualify them for making coded images. We wanted to boost their probability of obtaining. That was one detail that we changed. And then we also learned that we were optimistic in our estimates over the last few decades, how much downtime we would need early in the survey. So it's about factor of 2 effects in the assumed downtime. We are trying now to have high fidelity simulations that will predict what you can expect 3 months from now, 6 months from now, several years from now. And so we had to modify how much time is lost to downtime. At this moment, this is equivalent to about 10% decrease in the total number of visits expected early in the survey. Now, you may think 10% is a lot, but actually it is mind-boggling that we are still so high and so consistent with what we've been saying for the last 2 decades. Weather, the impact of unpredictable weather, even not including this giant storm that Bob talked about, but on average, historically, you cannot predict better than 10% what you will get out of sky. So the fact that we changed assumptions by 10% is just a little bit of modification. And indeed, we all need to rejoice that the system is operating so well and that that throughput of the system is basically where it's supposed to be or even a little bit higher. We did not have to change the exposure time in order to keep the depth of images. So system is fantastic, system is great, and hopefully we'll continue improving it as we learned more and more about its performance, and we'll improve how we operate it. Efficiency is the next big thing to improve. As Bob said, we want to make it as boring as possible. So I think Alan is next.
Yes. Okay. So we're all here. We're excited because we're all taking part in something that's never, ever been done before. Right. And you saw Bob's early slides about how much has happened in the past year. I've only been with Ruben. This is my third RCW. And I know a lot of people feel like things move very slowly, but for me, it's been a whirlwind. And just in the last year, you all were here, many of you, you remember we were celebrating First Look. We had this beautiful image of the Virgo cluster. And just a year later now, right, we're turning out 700,000 alerts a night when we're fully operational. So the education and public outreach team, there are 11 of us. Many of them, I think all of them are in this room right now, have been working hard, and everything I'm going to share with you very quickly, every one of them has contributed in myriad of ways to all of these things. And it really is our job to work with you and to take all that excitement that you have about the survey and get the public to mirror that. So I'm going to come back to this at the end, but we want to hear from you today, all week, all year, right? We're here to work with all of you. So some highlights from the last year. I hope many of you have seen Orbit Viewer that went live on our website. You can look and it models the solar system, and very soon there will be many, many Ruben discoveries in there. It's a three-dimensional environment that you can work in. There are guided tours you can explore on your own. We've put a new Ruben Basics series on the website. This is to explain to the public things that are basics about Ruben Observatory. Constantly making visuals and animations. Bob mentioned the citizen science data that will be opening up today. Well, in fact, we already have had 4, is that right, Claire? 4 Pathfinder projects, which I'll talk about in a second. We have been updating the educational investigation website. I'll mention those again. Those are for teachers, for middle school to like Astro 101 in college. And we're continuing to build new tours in the Sky Viewer, which is a Ruben viewer of the sky. And the Ruben Dash. Yeah, it's not a race, but it is a dashboard on the website. And this is for the public to get a look at what's happening at the observatory. What are the conditions at the summit? What is the telescope doing? How far are we in the survey? And even some cute animals you can see on the right. So as you all heard, there's been a big storm. There's not a lot happening now, but keep an eye on the dashboard, right? Share this with people. And we'd love to get feedback too. As we go forward into the survey, we will be adding more and more detail and functionality to this dashboard. We'd love to get your feedback, keeping in mind that it's a tool for the public. It's not necessarily a scientific look at what's going on. So I wanted to share a couple quotes here that give you a sense of the importance of the work that you all are doing and how we can work with you to connect the public to that. And so these are comments that came through an evaluation of our Sky Viewer app after First Look. You can see that people say things like, I loved the tour, the guides. It just gave me a perspective. It made it interesting. It made me want to know more. I won't read all of this, but that really is what we're after here, is to engage the public with Ruben Observatory. Again, to take your excitement and to bring it to the public. You can see the social media handles there. So I mentioned the education. So the team has built educational investigations. So these are for teachers to, in their classrooms, teach introductory astronomical concepts. They use data, well, they will soon, from Ruben Observatory, which is very neat. And we can build all these great tools, but if we're not engaging teachers in how to use them, right, they won't get used. So there's a lot of focus in that. We've done about 20 workshops this year with teachers in the US and Chile. And some fun facts, you can see that since these went live in fiscal year 23, we've had about 80,000 unique uses of the Ruben investigations from 59 countries. And we've seen a 50% increase since the start of early operations, so since October. Okay, citizen science. So this is a collaboration between Ruben EPO and the Zooniverse. You're going to hear more about that this week. And it really is to support researchers to engage the public in their science. And another example of impact, do people want to participate? Resoundingly, yes. So you can see we've had 4 projects. This was as of, I think, Thursday of last week when I did this. 12.8 million classifications in our 4 Rubin projects. It's a huge number. One of the projects, Comet Catchers, in its first 12 weeks was the second most successful project in the history of Zooniverse, I believe. It was in the last year. Yeah, in the last year on Zooniverse. So the
That's
public,
DP1.
yeah, that was DP1 data. So the public is very, very ready and willing to jump in and join us in our science here. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up here. I will just say that we want to hear from you. We have 3 lunchtime sessions this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It is BYOL, bring your own lunch. They are around 12:30. Tuesday is a science and communications. Wednesday is education and data visualization. And Thursday will be citizen science. So really grab a lunch, come and dialogue with us. We want to have a back and forth and understand ways that we can work to better support everyone in the room. So thanks.
Okay, just a few more slides, and then Melissa's going to give us a rundown on the week, and hopefully we'll have a time for a few questions before we break for our break. So I wanted to give you a few updates on where we are with our in-kind program, the operations organization, some resources that have started flowing, and talk a little bit about you, the community, and getting going on the LSST. So to remind you, our success is not only from all the federal agencies here in the US, but also dedicated teams in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, Latin America, all around the world. Rubin is truly a global enterprise, and that includes working on the construction project as well as now supporting critical operations activities, in particular for data release processing, but also for many of the science collaborations to build infrastructure and support science analysis with the data that Rubin produces. So it's an absolutely critical part and a welcome part and a collaborative aspect that really, I think, makes Rubin and the LSST tremendously more valuable for all of us. There are 41 in-kind programs. You can peruse this slide deck and look at those big numbers. Those are the values in millions of dollars. So hundreds of millions of dollars over the 10-year survey. That includes large contributions in construction from our French team, but lots of software development for the science collaborations, computing resources that we're starting to now put online as we start putting out data, not only at the USDF, but in Europe and other IDACs around the world. Those are independent data access centers. We have made great progress in finishing the formal data rights agreements. There's 70% of them have been signed across Aura and Slack. We're still working on a few, and those are mostly in good shape. I think they're just working through some of the details on the program side. We have pushed out almost all the remaining ones to the programs, and they're looking at them right now. That effort represents thousands of PIs and junior associates around the world outside of Chile and the US. Tremendous contribution to our overall science enterprise. And already there are 2,000 data rights holders assigned to some of those slots. That's only a fraction of those slots. There's still more to be assigned as folks continue to develop their programs in their home countries. Just wanted to note that the program itself, we're looking to always get more help for Rubin, either at Rubin Observatory itself or within the science collaborations through this resource needs program. The resource needs are a program that has a simple web form where a recipient, that is some team within Rubin or some team within a science collaboration, identifies a need that they have that's not currently being filled. We will vet those and put them out and then allow in-kind contributors from wherever, including in the US or Chile, to propose that they would fulfill that need. And so we're launching on that, or we have launched on that, and we continue to take those new ideas going forward. So you can find that on the Rubin webpage, and we invite you to the IDAC session and the other in-kind sessions later this week. And we'll get an update from our in-kind coordination chair, Aprajita Verma. Okay. I wanted to note that, we really are starting science, and part of that was to make the first allocations of extra computing resources at the US data facility. So when folks jump into DP2 soon, they'll of course go to the Rubin Science platform initially on the Google Cloud. But there's also compute resources available at the USDF for larger, more intense programs. And this is handled through an allocation process, much like a telescope time allocation process. We invite proposals on a regular basis. We had the first call in February. We got 13 proposals from the community, and we were able to vet those with our science and technical group, this resource allocation committee, and provide resources at the USDF now for 8 of those proposals, which will work with DP2 on these more intensive science projects. So that's something to be aware of. We very much want your participation in this. Not only do we want you to come and use the resources that are available, but if you're of a mind that wants to help out, please see us about being on one of the review panels as we go through this process annually. Abhi Saha, who Jelko just called out, ran this process for us this year, and he will have more details if you want to grab him and talk about the program. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to talk with you. So we mentioned earlier that we're now a functioning observatory. We really are. We have a new organization that's a little bit different than the construction one. So we wanted to put out this slide for your information and have you look it over. The main point here is that you will be able to identify folks that you know and where they sit within our organization. There are 2 main departments, the Summit Operations and the Data Management departments. And then we have, of course, our education public outreach program that you just heard from Alan, as well as the director's office and some teams within there that help everything run. So if you have any questions about the organization, or you're thinking about you need to talk to somebody, this can help you find the right place to go. Before I hand it over to Melissa, I wanted to talk a little bit, just a few words about the survey. This is your survey, and I really mean that. The folks in this room, the folks around the world, the folks in the other room, the folks in Zoom have worked just as hard in many cases as the folks on the construction and operations teams for many years. And many of you are in this room. You can turn your head and look to those next to you, and you know who those folks are. You built the science case. You developed the science case and have maintained it over years. And as Jelko said, it remains incredibly relevant today, and we're executing on it because of your work. Your service to this enterprise will not only allow you to do science, but it'll allow the rest of the community to do science with Rubin. So your service is incredibly important, and I wanted to thank you for it, in particular for the committees that you have served on for so long, the Science Advisory Committee, the Survey Cadence Optimization Committee, the Users Committee, which is meeting here this week, as well as the Science Advisory Committee. The Resource Allocation Committee that we just mentioned. So let's everyone give a big round of applause for all that effort in this community that has brought us to this point. Anybody? It's your survey. And so what you see on this plot is the visit maps for the first 10 days that we started in the last few weeks. So it's pretty impressive. We didn't have any wideband data yet, but we'll get there. And we had very little U-band, but we'll get there as well. So you can see what Rubin as a facility does in such a short amount of time. The future is bright. The future is yours. I just am totally excited to be with you and to help you get on with the science. So with that, I'll pass it off to Melissa, and we'll talk about what the rest of the week looks like. So thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Melissa Graham. I'm the lead community scientist for Rubin Observatory. You've all been getting lots of emails from me. I'm glad to see everybody made it. A couple of updates and announcements for the week ahead. The first one is from the security gate. You can use your name badge at the gate. Just showing this should get you entry. It's a special thing just for the RCW. Please still carry your ID with you at all times, but just flashing this should work at the gate. Coffee breaks. We're about to have our first coffee break. There are 3 locations for the coffee breaks: in Redwood, outside of Kavli here, and then over outside of Trinity in Building 53 near the registration desk. There's also, if you need like latte, cappuccino, something, there's a little coffee kiosk called the Verve Cafe that's over closer to the guest house. For poster sessions, the poster boards are going to be up in Building 53. They're outside of the Trinity room. It's the afternoon coffee breaks that are the designated poster sessions. So that's where if you're a poster presenter, you stand next to your poster in the afternoons. That's when people will be looking to find you and talk with you. The posters, if you're a presenter, you just put them up in the morning of either the Monday or the Wednesday. Please remember to take them down the afternoon of the Tuesday or the Thursday. There should be pins there, or just ask the registration desk if you can't find them. Should be 3 posters per board. So do put your posters up, start by putting your posters up on the edges of the board, then take the middle spots. For lunches, there's a Slack Cafe. It's over in Building 53 and it's on the 2nd level. There's also a couple of nearby walkable restaurants. There's one web page in the RCW website is dedicated to getting food. You can also order food to arrive at Slack. You can tell them to take it to the Building 53 lobby, and the exact address and instructions that you should put into your delivery order are also on the website. We are having informal bring your own lunchtime sessions in the Trinity room over in Building 53. So I think the EPO ones were just mentioned. Those will have a bit of content. They will tell you things about EPO. You can engage with the EPO team about that. Today, it's just a student social. So if you're a student, you can just take your lunch to Trinity, chat with other students. No one is running anything. There's no content. It doesn't start at any time. It's just a lunchroom where you can go chat, meet with other students, especially if you're here by yourself. Go meet some other students and talk with them. Monday and Wednesday nights, the Trinity room, so you can kind of get, Trinity is becoming also our like social hub room for the RCW. Monday and Wednesday nights starting at 6 p.m., but also that's very flexible. Trinity will turn into the board games room. You can bring your own game, or you can just show up and join some other people's for games. You can go have dinner first, then come back and join late. You can order your dinner in, get together with people, order pizza, whatever you want. Trinity will be open basically 6 to 9, and you're welcome to have dinner and play board games in there. In the Slack space, there's an RCW board games channel where you can coordinate. Tomorrow, the group photo will happen at 5:30 p.m. at the Slack fountain. So that's after the last sessions of the day. Put on your t-shirt or wear it all day, show up at the fountain, just follow whatever instructions are being shouted at you to get into formation, and we will take the photo. And thank you so much for being on time and showing up for that. If you're a virtual attendee, we still want your photo. Just drop it into ls.sc/share and we'll include you in the group photo. Thanks so much. Also tomorrow, after that, the reception will be at 6 p.m. at the Slack Cafe. It's going to be an indoor-outdoor reception. It's heavy appetizers. The menu is on the website, and it's already included in your registration fee. If you have a guest that you want to bring, it's $50 for the reception, and I look forward to seeing you there. Wednesday, the special event is the Unconference. It's the last session of the day. No breakouts have been predetermined. We figure out what breakouts to have using the Unconference board. The way you use the Unconference board, which is over near the registration desk in Building 53, is you get a Post-it note, you write your idea down for a session that we missed, or is something new that you just thought of that people should get together and work on or talk about. Write your idea on the sticky note, and then other people come by, read all of the options for what we could do Wednesday afternoon. You vote by just marking an I or a 1 next to the sticky note. You can vote for more than one session if you want to. That's fine. There will be more and more sessions that come out up until Wednesday at lunch. And then I count them up at the end of lunch on Wednesday. The top 3 sessions get assigned rooms, and that's it. You just show up in that room and you talk about, or you do whatever it is. There's no one chairing it. It's usually pretty informal and a lot of fun. You can have a hack session. Literally anything you want to do on the Wednesday afternoon is the Unconference. Thursday, there will be a meeting of the users committee. It will be over in Redwood. It starts at 10:30 a.m. in the morning session. And this session is open to everyone. Your users committee really wants to talk to you as Rubin users to find out what your experiences are like. What are you having trouble with? What can't you figure out how to do? What other services would be better suited for your science goals? That kind of thing. There's also a special note that the users committee is about to turn over and we're looking for nominations / volunteers. And there's a community forum post that tells you how to nominate someone or how to volunteer to be a new users committee member. Also, something new and fun, Friday afternoon, we decided in the past, the RCWs have always ended Friday at lunch, but this year we've extended it through the Friday afternoon. So the Kavli room and the Trinity room will have these special sessions that I wanted to highlight. There are a lot of skill building sessions for you as research software developers, as mentors for our younger generation. And then also right at the end of Friday, there's going to be a Rubin 2036 session looking forward to the future of Rubin after its 10-year survey that kind of is a bit of foreshadowing for the meeting that's happening here next week. So Rubin 2036 is a whole meeting that's happening here next week. But if you can't make it to that, or if you want to get started early, attend this session on Friday afternoon. We also have virtual posters for those of you who maybe didn't get a real poster, an in-person poster in. We use the community forum for this. You can share your research as a Rubin research bite. It can be a poster PDF, a short slide deck, a little vlog style post of you talking about your research. Even if you have an in-person talk or poster, if you also want to do a Rubin research bite to advertise your latest paper, whatever you want. It's this free, open for everyone. Just keep it short and have fun with that. For all of our presenters, all of our session chairs, our speakers, our poster presenters, this year we had more than 80 contributed talks and more than 40 posters, which is amazing. All speakers and chairs, please arrive in your breakout rooms 15 minutes early for AV checks. There are 80 staff in the room that are waiting for you to be there so they can check your talk with you. You can get help with anything in the RCW ITAV Tech Help Slack channel. So if you do run into any issues, just post in there and we'll get you sorted out. And again, thank you so much for volunteering to chair, for volunteering to speak and to present your posters. And as a final thanks now to the organizing committee, the science organizing committee, and everybody who helped make the RCW happen. It's all on here. And I think that leaves us with time for questions. Yeah, thanks so much.
We do have time for a couple of questions. If folks have something that's burning, we'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, we will all be around all week to talk at coffee breaks and other places. But raise your hand and we have microphones if you have a question. Anything on Zoom? We'll wait just a minute. Okay, I guess we can go to break and have a great week.